Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to the Jouleicentral Best of 2021 Top 10. If you've watched the worst of list, then you'll know that this year had the least amount of posts, but in my opinion, the highest proportion of quality ones. So while this made it hard to choose which posts I call bad, it also makes it hard to definitively rank which posts were the best. So many legendary posts were made this year that having to rank them all was heartbreaking. There's also the fact that I only rank posts that I number in the description, so I don't include stuff I consider extra, like the JTTs April Fool's joke, the Julie Hate Day video, some of the memes I've made, or any of the awesome guest stuff. So definitely go check those out if you haven't. The last thing I want to say is that the best of videos are always going to be shorter than the worst of ones, since I feel like the best of posts are self-explanatory as to why they're good for the most part, unlike the worst of list, where I feel more inclined to explain why I consider a post to be bad. So basically, make sure you check out all the posts on this list, since I consider them to be some of my best work of the year. But anyways, Number 10, It's Julie and Jigsaw Julie Time. What can I say about this picture? The title explains it best. It's Julie. I will say though, that now that I look at this a bit closer, she does seem a bit too tall, and I think her abdomen is misshapen based on where her head is supposed to be. But other than that, it's a cute picture. It's Julie. You really can't go wrong. And there is a jigsaw puzzle version for Windows, which you can download at bit.ly/JulieTime. Number 9, Julie Whack Fashion 9. I mean, come on, just look at Julie here. She got an incredible makeover, and if you're keeping track, this is the first time so far I've ever portrayed her with lips. And if you expand the description on Instagram, you'll know that the yoga pants are literally some random lady's ass cheek I just pasted onto Julie. So, yeah. But this is one of my favorite Whack fashions so far concept-wise. However, the reason why it isn't higher up on the list is because I think the chains and rings are a little too thick and don't look as good as they could have. Number 8, Direct Action Julie. What if Julie was pushed to her absolute limit? Well, this is what we get. The flag is pretty badass and symbolic with the mother carrying her children, and all in all, if Julie was a terrorist, this is probably what it'd look like. The only gripe I have is that the perspective is just a little bit off. The horizon should be a bit lower since we're supposed to be looking at Julie head on at her level. But otherwise, this is a funny, shocking, and memorable picture. Number 7, Best Julie. This is the first post of the year, and oh boy is it a pretty interesting start. It's also one of my friend's favorite pictures, and I can see why. It's just funny, not to mention Julie actually looks pretty good in general. The only downside I have with it is that at the time I was experimenting with using a bitmap brush to draw the hair instead of doing it manually, so it looks a little patchy and weird, but the concept is funny enough to distract from that. Number 6, St. Patrick's Day Julie. What makes this one great is the joke is so simple, yet effective, and it stays within the St. Patrick's Day theme. Funnily enough, I actually think this is one of the best Julies I've ever drawn digitally. Everything about her just looks correct, aside from the fact that she's a nasty green color. I mean, even her abdomen has that subtle tapered end that's usually really difficult to get correctly. Also, if you didn't know, spiders are attracted to the color green, so this technically may be the most attractive Julie I've drawn yet. Once I learned that, I figured I'd make Julie's favorite color be green, which you can see as a theme in some later posts. Number 5, Julie Julie. Julie 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 Julie. Julie Julie Julie. Julie. Julie 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 Julie. Julie. Julie 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 Julie. Julie 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 Julie. Number 4, Macintosh Julie. This one has that authentic old school cool factor, which I think helps blast it up the list. But it also has a story to go along with it. Shortly after I took the picture, our part of the old monitor exploded and started to fill my room with smoke. I unplugged that shit so fast, and we put it outside just in case. My dad and I are gonna open it up and fix it eventually, but yeah, that was pretty crazy. As for Julie herself, she looks okay here. It was actually really hard to draw her on here though, since it's basically like doing it on Flipnote Studio. After I filled in the colors on her body just to see how it looked, it was basically impossible to change anything else, since I don't think you were able to undo more than once. So trust me, this was done very carefully and with extra precision. Number 3, Vampire Julie. This comic is utterly heartbreaking, but it's just awesome. It really just fires on all cylinders. It connects to Halloween with Julie's great costume, it connects to Spider Rights in Julie's universe with the turtle dude right here and how he misinterprets Julie's costume, and yeah, I'm just proud of it. I really don't know what else to say. Pause the video and take it in if you haven't read it before. Number 2, Julian the Elder. This is a good post. This is a really good post. Read the comic, pause the video, I mean just look at it, come on, look. It gave us some Mortal Julie panel, okay, how can you say no? And this panel right here is like, you know, it's like, oh, scary. Number 1, Hoodie Julie. For some insane reason, I almost called this post Julie Whack Fashion 10, which is totally unfitting because this fashion is the complete opposite of whack. I mean, come on, this is just the perfect Julie, she has drip. It is also by far the most detailed picture I've drawn so far. The background is actually a callback to an old prototype for a Julie game I made back in early 2019, so it has a sort of nostalgia factor for me. I did have to change up the Geo Industries sign so I didn't face reveal by my friends, But other than that, yeah, I'm proud of the convenience store visual gag, as well as just the perspective and dynamic angle and pose of Julie in general. The green nails and jacket are a reference to the whole spiders with green thing, you know, as a reference to the obscure fact that Julie is a spider. Although, I did mess up on the coloring for the ones touching her face, but the rest of the picture is so good that I don't even care. Also, let's just take a second to appreciate the epic design of the jacket, okay? The spider on the back, the webs going down on the arms, even the little Julie Central on the top of the hood there. All in all, probably one of my favorite posts ever. So alright, that was the best of lists for this year. To be honest, I've been pretty burned out making these lists. College was a lot of energy, but this year was a pretty good one all in all, honestly. Thanks for watching, and here's to a good 2022.